With Donald Trump finally admitting that Russia harbors ambitions beyond Ukraine, Estonia's defense ministry is bracing for what comes next, as military confrontation with Russia appears increasingly inevitable. At the recent NATO meeting in The Hague, after speaking with Zelensky, Trump openly stated that Putin's territorial goals stretch far beyond Ukraine. Euromaidan Press media outlet says, "These revelations expose Moscow's intent to destabilize its neighbors, with Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania emerging as primary targets due to their geographical vulnerability. Estonia's 183-mile border with Russia, especially near Narva, is well within reach of Russian artillery. NATO's Article 5, which mandates collective defense, faces a critical test as Russia escalates its rhetoric. Still, Moscow appears keen to avoid triggering it directly, instead opting for provocative actions masked as defensive responses. Estonia's defense minister, Hanno Pevkur, confirmed that Estonia is prepared to host F-35 multirole stealth fighters as part of NATO's Baltic air policing mission. Euromaidan Press says, "These aircraft serve both as a deterrent and as protection for NATO airspace. Despite the F-35 not being assigned nuclear missions in Estonia, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov called it an immediate threat, framing the deployment as reckless escalation. This narrative is being amplified by Russian media, which paints NATO as the aggressor, despite having its own nuclear forces already stationed within rapid striking distance of NATO's border, 15 to 20 minutes. No nuclear warheads are stored in Estonia, unlike some NATO sites in Germany or Turkey, underscoring that the deployment is strategic rather than escalatory. Nonetheless, Russia's messaging hints at pretext building for future military action. Estonia, along with Latvia, Lithuania, Poland and Finland, is fortifying the 3,450-kilometer border with Russia and Belarus, creating a modern Iron Curtain, Euromaidan Press says. This new Iron Curtain, supplemented by anti-personnel mines after these nations left the Ottawa Treaty banning them, aims to deter Russia by making any confrontation on the ground lengthy enough for NATO's larger militaries to arrive and help. Estonia alone has invested €5.2 million in defences near Narva, including 32 bunkers, anti-tank barriers and 12 ammunition depots. The dense forests and Lake Peipus add natural obstacles along the rest of the border. In June 2025, Estonia's Storm 25 exercises involved 6,000 Estonian troops and over 10,000 NATO allies, simulating defense operations against Russian advances. Euromaidan Press says, Lithuania's defense budget is set to reach 5.5% of GDP, signaling regional urgency. While Estonia's actions are defensive, Moscow's portrayal of them as provocations raises risks of escalation. The Baltic frontier is increasingly fortified and the stakes are high. Estonia's defense is on the line, and Moscow is watching.
China deployed its embassies to spread doubts about the performance of French-made Rafale jets after they saw combat in India and Pakistan's clashes in May, French military and intelligence officials have concluded, implicating Beijing in an effort to hammer the reputation and sales of France's flagship fighter. Findings from a French intelligence service seen by the Associated Press say defense attaches in China's foreign embassies led a charge to undermine Rafale sales, seeking to persuade countries that have already ordered the French-made fighter, notably Indonesia, not to buy more and to encourage other potential buyers to choose Chinese-made planes. The findings were shared with AP by a French military official on condition that the official and the intelligence service not be named. For days of India-Pakistan clashes in May were the most serious confrontation in years between the two nuclear-armed neighbors, and included air combat that involved dozens of aircraft from both sides. Military officials and researchers have since been digging for details of how Pakistan's Chinese-made military hardware, particularly warplanes and air combat missiles, fared against weaponry that India used in airstrikes on Pakistani targets, notably French-made Rafale fighters. Sales of Rafales and other armaments are big business for France's defense industry and help efforts by the government in Paris to strengthen ties with other nations, including in Asia where China is becoming the dominant regional power. Pakistan claimed its air force downed 5 Indian planes during the fighting, including 3 Rafales. French officials say that prompted questions about their performance from countries that have bought the fighter from French manufacturer Dassault Aviation. India acknowledged aircraft losses but didn't say how many. French Air Force Chief General Jérôme Bélanger said that he's seen evidence pointing to just 3 Indian losses, a Rafale, a Russian-made Sukhoi and a Mirage 2000, which is an earlier generation French-made jet. It was the first known combat loss of a Rafale, which France has sold to 8 countries. Rescuers were scouring a devastated Central Texas landscape of mangled trees, overturned cars, and muck-filled debris on Sunday in an increasingly bleak mission to locate survivors, including 27 girls who have not been seen since their camp was slammed with a wall of water in a historic flash flood. According to Associated Press, the flooding in Kerr County killed at least 43 people, including 15 children, and at least 8 people died in nearby counties. Authorities still have not said how many people were missing beyond the children from Camp Mystic, a Christian summer camp along a river in Kerr County where most of the dead were recovered. The destructive, fast-moving waters rose 26 feet on the Guadalupe River in just 45 minutes before daybreak Friday, washing away homes and vehicles. The danger was not over as rains continued pounding communities outside San Antonio on Saturday and flash flood warnings and watches remained in effect. Authorities were coming under scrutiny over whether the camps and residents in places long vulnerable to flooding received proper warning and whether enough preparations were made.